JoKer, level 12 upgrade. So today I'm going to be installing red aluminum axle carriers. This is something I've been wanting to do for a long time, and it gives me a chance to add more red to JoKer. So let's go ahead and get these installed. First thing I gotta do is take off each one of the tires. After removing the 17mm wheel nut, pop off the tire. Next up, I need to go ahead and remove the turnbuckle, which is held in with a single screw. And I should go ahead and mention that the rear is going to be exactly like the front, so the process for each one of these axle carriers is identical. Go ahead and pop that off. Now, I'm going to get a wrench, and then I'm going to unscrew the grub screw that's in the end of the wheel hex hub. Once that's been loosened, I can go ahead and push out the axle pin, and then pull off the wheel hex hub. Now I'm going to use some needle nose pliers and pull out the pivot ball covers. Then I'm going to straighten out the A-arm, and then I'm going to go ahead and unscrew the pivot balls. A little on top, and then a little on bottom. Back and forth until it's all done. There we go. Now I can easily pull out the bottom of the drive shaft and pull off the covers for the pivot balls. I'm also going to have to pop off these braces. Last but not least, I need to go ahead and pull out the bearings. And now I need to unscrew the pivot ball caps. And that's when this tool comes in handy. So I'm just going to slide this in there and unscrew it. There's one, as well as a pivot ball. And there's two, with the second pivot ball. Now I can go ahead and compare the new aluminum axle carrier with the stock one, and as you can see, the design is nearly identical. They even include the grooves for the bracket that holds on the dust covers for the pivot balls. So now let's go ahead and start putting everything onto the new axle carrier. I'm going to start off with the pivot ball, slide that into position, and I could use the stock pivot ball caps, but they did include some aluminum ones, which I'm going to go ahead and utilize. And it does come with an O-ring on there, so it will hold itself in position, which means I don't need to use any thread locker on this. However, it doesn't have the grooves for me to use this tool, so I have to use Allen wrench. Gonna tighten it all the way down, and then loosen it up until the pivot ball falls down. Gotta make sure that's loose. With the pivot balls installed, I'm going to go ahead and reinsert the bearings. First the end cap, and for the other side, since it is exposed and you can see it, I'm going to be replacing it with a black bearing, which is going to look a lot better. With those in place, I'm going to get the bottom of the drive shaft, slide that in, go to the other side, get the wheel hex hub, slide it into position, make sure that the holes line up. Put in the axle pin, make sure that's level on each side, and then I can go ahead and tighten the grub screw in the end. With that taken care of, I need to get the dust covers for the pivot balls, slide those into position. Get the brackets, pop those on. And now I can go ahead and reattach it to the A-arms. So I'm going to make sure that the drive shaft goes into the proper position. Gonna straighten out the A-arms, line up the pivot balls, and then screw them in a little on top and a little on bottom. With the pivot balls screwed in all the way, I just gotta make sure that the little rubber dust boots are in the right position, the brackets are still in place. If they came out, I can just go ahead and reposition them and pop the brackets back on. After putting a little thread locker onto the bottom, I'm going to get the turnbuckle, slide it into position, and install the screw that holds it in place. Now I'm going to get the dust covers for the end caps for the pivot balls, put it into position, and then shove it in. Just like that. And now I can finally get the tire, slide it into position, and then reinstall the 17mm nut. Now before I'm done with this upgrade, there's one last thing I need to do. Since I tightened the pivot balls all the way down, it's going to rotate the tire with the end of the A-arms. So what I need to do is I need to loosen the bottom pivot ball in order for me to realign the tire. So on the side, I'm going to go ahead and rotate the tire until you can see the pivot ball cap. Then I'm just going to use my hex screwdriver, slide it in. Then I'm just going to go ahead and loosen it until I get the right angle on the rear tire. With that taken care of, now I need to go ahead and do the other tires. Here is before, and there is after. And I have to say, it honestly looks really good. Sad it's gonna be tucked away so you can't see it too well, but now that I got rid of the rest of that blue on the bearing, and these are now red aluminum, it matches the theme of everything else, which just makes this darn ESC all the more of an eyesore. However, it still works perfectly fine, so I have no reason to switch it out. But one day, I am gonna have to take care of that. As always, I have to give a huge shout out to everyone who's helped me on Patreon. Because of you guys, these upgrades are possible. That was JoKer's level 12 upgrade. Everything back onto the new one. Down to the compare the new aluminum ones. Really identical. They even, and now we can go ahead and oh my god, the stock ones. But it does not include the grooves for me to boop. As you can see, the grooves that hold on at the pivot ball. Now we can go ahead and compare new aluminum castle. Wow, just a pin. We can go ahead and compare the new aluminum castle. Oh my god, ball cap. However, they do include aluminum ones. Really driving me nuts. Really just want to do this. Compare the aluminum castle. Oh my gosh, stop carrier. Oh my gosh, the new aluminum. Oh.